XRP in the crypto market has been pretty shaky recently, I get it, but today we've got some breaking news for specifically XRP. We also have Da Vinci, the guy that brought Bitcoin to the masses at just $1, having a bit of a wild price prediction, and on top of that, we do also have a reason you might want to consider buying $50 of XRP. XRP just got a major boost from China. Chinese fintech giant Link is putting its $1 trillion supply chain finance platform on the XRP ledger. RWAs, cross-border payments, and trade finance apparently all going on the XRP ledger. Now let's take a look at XRP's price. So recently we came down to retest the lower level of support. As I told you guys, this could be an opportunity to start a trade. Not telling you guys what to do, just what I'm considering. And as you know, I myself open a trade right here. We got the XRP long that I opened at the bottom of that wedge. Right now just in a measly $300 profit, but that is 21%, and I think this could grow to larger from here. I also yesterday opened a Bitcoin long here. I opened a whole Bitcoin with high leverage just in case we get a bounce from where we are right now. I like to take these outsized bets on the market when we get these pullbacks because I want to go against the grain. I want to go against the majority of people who are trading. And look at this, CME Group says XRP is the fastest contract to cross 1 billion in open interest, doing so in just 3 months. So the CME Group, this is a pretty big deal for XRP itself. Now this week could be pretty bumpy as we have initial jobless claims and core PCE data for Q2 dropping on Thursday. So do be prepared for that, guys. And we also have some weird news going on right now where Trump is trying to fire Lisa Cook here in the Fed, right? In the Federal Reserve. And people are saying that this isn't allowed, this isn't possible, but this is going to set a new precedent, and you know, things are going to get pretty interesting there. Now we also have global M2 money supply with Bitcoin actually lagging behind it, which could tell us that maybe if this continues to be a pattern, we could be heading up pretty soon for Bitcoin. Now right now BlackRock is dumping hundreds of millions of Bitcoin, which could be some of the reason behind this recent big push to the downside. Now Bitcoin is holding about 110,000 at the time of recording, but I do want to see us get above really this resistance now, 110 to 112,000. I don't like us to be below that. Recently we have retested this previous resistance, and if we get back above it, that would actually flip it into a support, and I wouldn't be too worried about much more downside. But if we don't get back above this region, anywhere between where we are now, 110 and about 100k down to as low as 98 is what I think is on the card. So be prepared for that. If that happens, we could see XRP lose this wedge pattern. Now this wedge pattern is like a smaller version of the wedge pattern we saw before, which resulted in about an 80% move to the upside for XRP here. So as long as we hold, this could be an opportunity. I'm seeing as an opportunity myself, as I do think the market could get bullish, but you guys please always make your own decisions out there. Now let's take a look at what Da Vinci had to say.
How XRP is going to go to 4,761. We've just made a huge pump, of course. You know what? It created some market structure, nice, created the W, and off it went. Perfect W action that you can see that this was for once in his lifetime, not manipulation. This was probably manipulation down here, but this was not. This was actually market action. With that said, right, what have we done? We've created a new high, right, local high, right, on XRP, and it looks like we're going to go a lot higher. Approximately, if we do the 1.618, that's 4,555, right, is the target. And that's why I think that it'll go slightly higher than that, right? That's why I'm thinking it's going to go like, you know, the 4,000, 700-ish area before we see any kind of return back. Now, this is, of course, price. That means it's like approximately $5, right? And US dollars, Chilean pesos. So that's what I'm measuring it in Chilean pesos, since, most of you know that I came from Chile.
So pretty interesting there. Of course, he's playing with the pesos to make it seem like he's calling 4,700. He's not, but he's just calling for about $5. For me personally, I think anywhere between $5 and $12 is what's possible for this bull run. And like I said at the start of this video, guys, there's an interesting perspective I want you guys to be aware of. I saw this tweet here, stacking 0.01 Bitcoin before $1 million is legendary. This is someone who just started buying Bitcoin, just $50 here and there of Bitcoin, right, to build up their position. Now, this got me thinking, what if I did this with XRP? And a lot of people might be thinking, well, they've missed the boat. So I asked Grok, what would happen, right, if I bought $50 of XRP just once a week since the previous all-time high back in 2018? And that would have resulted in just under $30,000 of profit. Just $50 a week, starting at the all-time high, not starting in the bear market like everyone says you should, starting at the all-time high, and just dollar cost averaging $50 a week would be $30,000 profit. Now, this is a long-term time horizon. The all-time high was back in 2018. We're now in 2025, and you have to think, well, I don't want 30,000 over the course of 7 years. Well, I think that's an amazing return for just $50 a week. All right, so that would be a total invested of $19,000 and then $30,000 on top of that return, which I think is absolutely incredible. And a lot of people don't want those sorts of returns. They want the 1,000,000% overnight, and that's not what's going to happen. That's the exception to the rule, and nobody gets that, right? And even the handful of people who have got these crazy gains, they go on to lose it because then they think they have some sort of they get like some sort of genius complex, and that's not how you make money over time. Again, it's similar to winning the lottery. Most people who win the lottery actually end up going back broke afterwards, right? Because they don't know what to do with the money. It was luck, not strategy. And I always think that the best thing to do is build a strategy. And I'll see you in the next one.